Good evening, everyone. Awesome Saturday evening, and the Sharpe Way is here yet again. 7 p.m. has kind of become the new Sharpe Way time. Used to be Mondays 8 to 10. Now it's kind of every day 7 p.m. I'm so glad you guys yet again have stopped by to hear me rant and to join me in a conversation about what's happening now in our world, in my state, in our country, particularly with this crisis, but in general. The issue that I want to speak about tonight is an issue that I think many of us are seeing. It is people taking advantage of this crisis. People who are saying, oh, good, people are afraid, people are worried, I can be righteous, I can feel like I'm great or better than you, let me point my finger at you, and all those types of things. And because we are obviously shaken, obviously concerned. Obviously, many of us are in positions that we don't want to be in. I saw a joke meme on I think it was Facebook. It's a crime statistics. Death. I'm making this up. Murder 0, robbery 0, crime 0, husband and wife fights 84,000. Obviously a joke, but the idea is we're now stuck with each other a whole lot. We're stuck with each other. So I get that we're upset. But when we're upset, when we're stressed, when we are pushed, that's when we see who we really are, right? That's when, that's when we know if we actually will stand by principles, if we actually will show up and, make things happen that we want them to happen, right? As Jay says, we'll see who will do the right thing, right? We're seeing that now. Do we stand by our principles, right? I talk a lot of trash. I'm talking trash all the time. And I'm pointing my finger at you all the time. But as you hear me say constantly, if I point my finger at you, then I got to point my finger at myself first. And I do that often. I hope you know that I do that often. I try to the best of my ability that if I'm going to tell you, I do. You guys saw me out. I was out today doing errands for people who are, the immune systems are compromised. I was just dropping stuff off, masked up, everything ain't going to anyone's house, obviously, because I don't want to infect anybody, but running errands, being a driver today out the city, watching cops every place in Manhattan and Queens, all over the place. But I was doing that today. I've asked you to do that. And I'm working when I can work, right? I live in the belly of the beast, guys. The epicenter of this is New York City, where I live, and the worst hit borough is my borough, Queens. Yes, I live in the epicenter. And I'm still out. I'm talking the trash. I'm trying to walk the walk. I'm hoping you will too. Why do I bring this up? Our politicians should also be doing that. They should also be talking the talk and walking the walk. And many of them aren't. And you see it right now. You see those who are principled being yelled at, screamed at. They're the bad guys because it's an emergency, so change everything. Rights and principles only matter when it's not an emergency. But I can't only blame them, right? I'm talking about a lot of people who are taking advantage of that. The first people I want to bring up is usually when I don't beat up that much, and that is the media. Usually I'm kind of quiet. I say the media is the media, whatever. They do what they do, right? It's fine. But I'm unhappy, particularly in this case, and usually you don't hear me say this, particularly in this case, I'm upset with CNN. Particularly, others too, but in this case, specifically CNN. Usually, when it comes to this type of issue, CNN tends to be the middle ground, generally between MSNBC and Fox. They tend to be in the middle. They tend to lean left, particularly since Trump was elected. They tend to lean left, but they tend to be in between the two. Oh my God, not now. They are all about this is the end of the world. Literally every 5 seconds you can see hanging up on CNN the number of deaths due to coronavirus. It is every 5 minutes is up. They talk about it all the time, consistently. This is the worst thing in the world. And I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying it. This is serious. It's just not the apocalypse. That's all I'm saying. There's a difference. There's a different level between the two of apocalypse and this, right? It is a problem. It's not the apocalypse. CNN and Fox News and MSNBC are doing it also. They're not innocent in this. But CNN is just like the queen. They're boom, 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 boom. And the problem is, it's working. People are watching, right? People are watching. And as they watch, they're believing. They're afraid. And they get more worried and more concerned. And every issue and concern they have, that all of a sudden validates every bad feeling they're thinking. This is not the right answer. But it's working. Why? Their ratings are going up. Have you seen the commercials on any of these things? I'm sure if you've been watching, you've seen it. They go on for 10 minutes, tell you how the world's ending, and then, blow, 5 minutes of buy this drug for your heart, or buy this drug for your brain, or buy this drug for your insert thing here, right? Whatever the case may be. That's what's happening. It's like it's the end of the world, and the media is taking complete advantage of it. They're making a killing, and worst off is when the individuals talk, right? The individual, Chris Cuomo or whomever it might be, but particularly him right now, because obviously his brother is my governor. Particularly in this case, when he talks, the righteousness that is insane. The, oh my God, how dare you care about anything except the life, and even if one life, and nothing but righteousness, right? And the false paradigm of you either care about money or you care about life. And that's completely not the answer. It's a false paradigm. It can be either. It can be both. It can be neither, right? Any of those. It can be both. It can be neither. I remember one of them saying something like, do we really care about this? Do we care about the money? Is that all that matters? Meanwhile, he's got a cushy job at CNN getting paid. Well, yeah, if I had your job, Chris Cuomo, I wouldn't be worried either. And I bet if most people had that job, yeah, we wouldn't care about that at all. We'd be like, great, whatever. No worries. No worries whatsoever. The problem is we don't all have that cool, cushy job, do we? We have jobs where we have to show up to make money, and that if people aren't watching, it doesn't matter. If people are watching him, he's gold. The righteousness drives me crazy. What is he going to say when it's 6 months from now and all of a sudden the economy's still trashed? He's going to be saying, well, why don't you give more money to the poor people? Is that what he's going to be saying? But it isn't just him. It is him. It's bad, and it is him. But on top of it, it's both Democrats and Republicans trying to act with the other paradigm, that it's government help or nothing. And if you don't want government help, or if you're not for government help, you're a bad person. The media Chris Cuomo piece is, if you don't want to shut down for 7 years and care about people and let all your assets go away, your business go away, your job go away, your friends and family go away, everything goes away. If you don't do that, you're evil. And now we have Democrats, Republicans saying, if you don't want government to be the answer, you're evil. People are using this in a righteous way to get a false narrative, a false paradigm, and if you don't fit into theirs, you're evil. We can't accept this, guys. But I don't want us to be angry. This is the hardest part. I don't want us to be as righteous in return. I don't want us to be as angry in return. I want us to show care. I want us to show that that we're human, right? I want us to be helping, and we are. We are helping. In fact, the private sector is helping. People are helping. It is setting up, but government is slowing this down. We've made this to a point where, as some of us think that, well, it's the Democrats doing it, it's the Republicans doing it. It's both, guys. And that's going to make some of you angry. Some of you are Democrats, some of you are Republicans, some of you lean left, some of you lean right who watch. I got to tell you, your team isn't a great team either. You might think the other team's worse, and that may be true depending upon who you are. I get that. The other team might be worse, but your team's not great. You're a Republican? You got Trump saying, yeah, we'll give all our money to my cronies, and there'll be no oversight. I'll do what I want. I'm the oversight. Don't worry about it. That's not corrupt. That'll be fine. And you got Cuomo here and all Democratic governors going, I got this, give me my money. You got the Democratic Congress saying, no, you've got to give money to what we think is correct. Like, let's start pushing for minimum wage. Let's start grabbing all these things. I mean, you're finding both sides trying to help their own cronies out to the best of their ability and not caring at all about, does the money actually get to the people that actually need it? Are we looking for the future at all? We're not. It's cronies. Left and right doing exactly the same thing and being righteous about it. How dare you not want to pass a $2 trillion stimulus? The question becomes, what happens when it's 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever that number is, and it doesn't work? Because it's not going to work. It can't work. It's not even set up to work. It's set up to grab cash. It's set up to ensure that cronies get paid, government gets more power, and some money goes out with the right signatures on it. By the way, Trump, for the first time, wants to have his signature on the checks going out. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. His name on the checks. You guys who are all behind Trump, come on now. That doesn't happen. Does now. Does now. This is the wrong answer, guys. I don't want his... this is the ultimate giveaway, right? Oh, look, Trump gave me money. He's literally buying votes. Don't be wrong. I mean, they all try to buy votes, but not so blatant like this. Oh my God, not so blatant like this. This is one of the worst ones I've seen, without question. So they're all doing this, but it isn't even just the leadership. It's actually individuals too, and I'm seeing it heavily here in New York. I'm sure you're seeing it out there too. The people who are so angry that if you don't follow the rules, whatever those rules are, then you're evil. People are calling the cops on their friends who are out running on track. People are calling their cops on people who are walking too close together. If those of you who've been in New York City, yes, I still live in the belly of the beast, right? Those of you who are here, you see, there is almost a cop on every corner. I'm not exaggerating. If you've been walking around the city at all, looking around, there's almost a cop on every corner here, right? People are look, he's doing this, look, he's doing that. The idea that now my own neighbor yells at me and calls me names. Calls me names. What are we doing here? Calls the cops on me. Look, call me names isn't that bad. I've been called lots of names. But that's still freedom of speech. I get it. You can call someone a jerk. I get it. But the idea that this person is evil because they won't do what I think they should do. Here's the worst part of the entire thing. Media. Individuals. A government. Is no one else suffering from anything else in this world today? Is there no one else who is ill from cancer or ill from a heart disease or addiction or insert thing here, diabetes, something? Is there no one else who's having any pain, right? If you look on TV, it's let's talk about this person whose mom or whose cousin or whose so-and-so died from corona. Didn't other people die of other things? Why is all of a sudden, and please, I want to be clear. If you lose someone of corona, it's horrible. But if you lost them in a car accident, it's still horrible. Your pain is still terrible regardless of how you do it or how you lose the person. Does it matter? And they're acting like the person who loses their loved one from corona is somehow more righteous than the person who loses it to a car accident or cancer or heart attack or Alzheimer's or insert thing here. No matter what, losing someone sucks. I've lost one in my life, and how many people watching have lost someone in their life. Does it matter if it's corona or not? I mean, I guess it does in a way, but still, you lost the person. And now we're deifying them as it's as if they were 9/11 first responders rushing into the building. They're not. They're in a terrible spot. I hate when people lose anyone, but there are other people who also care. Once you lose someone, you've lost someone. But I go back to the failing piece. What happens when it fails? And it will fail. When the stimulus package fails, when that happens, well, what are they going to do? They are just going to ask for more money, right? So 2 trillion becomes 3 trillion, becomes 6 trillion, becomes what? It just keeps going. They don't go, oh, that stimulus didn't work. Let's try something else. No. Oh, that stimulus didn't work? And as soon as that happens, all the cronies who got their cut go, oh, we got more government money coming? All right. Yeah, that's the answer. And boom, more. But now when we go back and we look at what happens when it's a year from now, and it wasn't the apocalypse. This is the thing that we have to worry about socially. It wasn't the apocalypse, because it isn't the apocalypse. When we realize a year from now, it's not the apocalypse, and we look back at all the horrible things we've done, will anybody be saying, you know what? We were wrong? No. All the people who are acting like, yeah, the cops should come and arrest people. I'm not making this up, guys. Wanting to arrest kids for playing basketball. Wanting to arrest them for playing basketball. Do you think they're going to be like, you know what, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It wasn't the apocalypse, and I probably shouldn't have done that. They won't. They won't at all. They won't. What about the now, well, we've locked down all these businesses, and nope, they won't. Whoops, sorry, all these businesses that are closed. We need taxes now. What? Oh, no, they won't. For New York State, those who don't know, New York State already had a $6 billion deficit and about $400 billion in debt. Just my state already had that. Now what? How are we going to get that money back? You mean people are going to leave my state now? I was already losing 100,000 every single year already. I'm going to lose 2, 3, 400,000 every goddamn year now. There's no one in my state left. But here's the part that no one else gets. As you push people out, this is for New York City specifically, for New York State specifically, as you push people out and they start working, and this becomes the new norm, some don't want to come back. They're going to be like, I like working from home. It worked. What happens when more people start working at home for these big cities, right? New York City, critical for New York. Well, then what's the value of the city anymore? What's the value? Who's going to pay those high taxes? Who's going to pay those massive rents? Who's going to pay that? And the stimulus is not going to help the city. For those of you who don't know this, $1,200 in New York City isn't even a studio apartment, 1 month's rent. Not even that. Some of you may not know that. If you live in New York City, you know that. That's not even a studio apartment, 1 month's rent, $1,200. In some of the worst neighborhoods, you can get a studio for $1,500 in some of the worst neighborhoods. Some of the worst neighborhoods. Right? So, good neighborhoods? No, not even close. It's not going to help us. We need another one. It's not going to help us at all. What happens when this becomes the new norm? The new norm is it's okay to impose martial law. It's okay to tell people, tell the cops about your neighbors. It's okay to wait for the government to help you whenever the crisis comes. What happens when the next crisis comes? Yeah. What happens when the next crisis comes? We're going to do exactly the same thing. Guys, this is not the right answer. My worry is so many. People are acting so righteous. Like, how dare you not stay in your home for 7 months, 8 months straight and ruin everything that you've ever built in your life? How dare you not do that? How dare you not destroy everything you have for 2 months? And how dare you not wait for the government to give you all its money? How dare you not do that? How evil are you? All you care about is money? Then, when they got to pay their bills, where's my money? Yeah. Then when the dollar's worth toilet paper, when literally we're using dollar for toilet paper because we've used all toilet paper up, now we're using the dollar for toilet paper. When that's happening, what are you going to say then? Guess what? You're going to blame no one. You're going to go, see, it's just the way it works. You're going to cry for more government. Guys, this is a huge issue we have to work on. And I'm saying it because people are going to start doing that to you. I'm going to ask you what to do. As I always do, I ask you for something. I'm going to ask you for something again. When the people start being righteous and they start saying, how dare you? How dare you not want to wait for government to do all the work? Why won't you wait for the president if you're Republican, or if you're in New York for the governor, if you're a Democrat, right? Wait for my guy, whoever my guy is, to fix this. How dare you not do that? Don't you trust them? How dare you not? And, oh my God, what do you only care about money? That's what you care about? When they do that, and they are, and they will, all I want you to think about this is saying, of course I care. I care about the long run. I care about how we're going to deal with this in the future. I care about how our family is going to survive in the future. I care about how can I have my children grow up and have their own families if there's no one kind of make that happen. What we haven't realized, and people don't get this, and please think about this if you would. For those of you who know this, think about the huge new norm that popped up from the last crash. If you go back 20 years ago, as an example, 20 years ago, right, prior to the crash, when the money was flowing, the average 20-something, 30-something very often owned something. They or if they didn't, they at least rented their own apartment, and maybe they had a roommate, maybe it's going to save some money. After the crash, think of all the people who went back home and still lived there for literally years. Think about the norm in big cities. New York City is exactly a thing I see right now, right? In New York City, there are people who easily, I'm not joking, if you're in a city, you know this, 3, 4, or 5 roommates. They will rent out a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment and then chop up through some form of wood or plastic or something from IKEA, the living room and the dining room, and make that separate bedrooms to rent out because they can't afford to live on their own. They can't. That's now before this crash. And that has become the new norm. The new norm is kids don't move out of the house until they're in their late 20s or 30s. That's now the new norm. I call them kids. I should call them youngsters. They're adults. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm insulting people who are 20-something. I apologize. It's because I'm an old man. I apologize. It's my mistake. But young adults now who are in a rental economy because they can't afford to buy anything, right? They're renting every week. They worry about monthly notes. That's all they care about. Nothing else. What's going to happen after this one? When even living at home isn't good enough. When 6 roommates isn't good enough. When having a computer and Netflix because you can't afford a TV isn't good enough. So you can't afford to have either, HBO or Dish or whatever is your cable provider, but instead, you've got to steal your buddy's Netflix account and only time use your computers to play video games. What's the new norm now? It's coming from this. Remember, all that I brought before, all those deaths of despair, the big uptick started after the dot-com bubble burst. Remember that? The dot-com bubble burst around 2000. Boom. Then the big one hit. Really hit around 2009, 10. Boom. Hit. Now this one. Boom. 3 in a row. Man, if I'm a 30-something or 20-something, I'm feeling like I can't get a break. I can't get a break. As I start growing, bam. I start growing, bam. I start growing, bam. How is that going to fit the psyche of the people who are going to be running our country in 20 years? Keep that in mind. The people who are in their 20s and 30s now will be running our country in 20 or 30 years. They're the ones who will be in charge, right? I might still be on here doing something, but not much, right? They're running things. We are crushing their psyche right now. We are telling them they have no option or choice. We're telling them the only option is to become more and more childlike. This is the wrong answer, guys. And the biggest problem is because of righteousness. So I want you, when they start being righteous and telling you, how dare you, I want you to say, I'm caring about the future. How about you? I care about the millennials. How about you? I care about people. I'll go one step further that some of you won't care about, but some of you will. But particularly for people who on the left who tend to care about this more than people on the right, as a general rule. How about the rest of the world? How about that? How about all the people right now who are super poor? in India and Africa and insert super poor country, right? Whatever country you want to call. How about those people? They live day to day from working. Literally, if they can't work, they can't eat. For some people, that's not an exaggeration. At least in America, we're not there. At least we're going to eat, right? So people aren't going to starve to death. Not many, at least, right? They're not going to starve to death. But in certain countries, they literally are going to starve to death because we shut the economy down. Who's righteous now? Who's righteous now when all of a sudden, literally millions of people die because they can't get to the hospital, because they can't afford this, because they can't eat, they starve to death? How about that? How about that? This is my biggest issue when it comes to the world. The global economy shutting down. While it affects America, it does. And we're going to have lots of problems. We're going to have a lot of problems. What about the rest of the world? That they have no way of getting around this. People who literally day to day, if they don't get it done, go work now, they literally are destroyed. They're dead. They're dead. But I go one step further. I bring up family court often. I know I do, you guys. I know I bring it up all the time. I bring up family court all the time. When our courts aren't in session now. How's that going to happen? How are we going to handle that? What happens when fathers or mothers decide, I'm just not going to have my kids see the other parent? It's like it's righteous alienation now. And then I'm going to tell the other parent, because I'm mad at them, I'm going to tell the kid about the other parent that, well, she doesn't want to see you. He doesn't want to see you. He doesn't want to see you. He's scared. He doesn't want to see you. What's going to happen now? It's going to make that worse too. So even those people who are broken and hurt, they're even worse off. How about people paying? I think there's a new. If I read it right, I'm sure someone will correct me. I'm pretty sure you see it that fathers who are behind on child payments won't get that $12 check. I think that's right. Or at least that was a movement to do that. I'm not sure if that actually passed. I think that did, but I'm sure someone will correct me. But that would even be something to think about. So I can't pay my child support, so don't give me money to ensure that I can't pay the child support, right? So I can't pay child support, so let's make sure that I get less money so that I can't pay child support, right? So let's make sure that my kids never see me. Let's do that. Yes. Another horrible side effect of this. The people who are saying they're righteous are not. They are actually hurting people so they can feel better about themselves. If you want to feel better about yourself, help others. How about that? If you want to feel better about yourself, help others instead of pointing your finger and saying, yeah, why isn't he doing that? Why isn't she doing that? Why are they doing that? They shouldn't. I'm going to call somebody so I can feel righteous. They're not righteous. You shouldn't accept them as being righteous, but you should realize something. You should realize that if you're just angry back at them, you validate their righteousness. If you call them names, if you insult them, if you're mad at them, you validate in their own head their righteousness. See, I knew that guy was a jerk. I'm glad I called him names. I'm glad I called the cops on him. I'm glad I did that. I want us instead not to be angry, to be disappointed, and ask questions about what they really want. Do they really want to help people? Is pointing your finger at somebody the answer? You really want to help somebody? I have an idea. Go and help someone. I've heard people do this. Oh, I don't want to go to work and I don't want to leave. I'll go shopping because I don't want to affect people. I don't want to do that. I heard that. And then next thing they say is, hey, how can I order and get my food delivered to me? So you're totally okay with the delivery guy. That guy, he can get sick all day. You're good with him. But just you. Who's righteous now? Who's righteous now? I'm not sure. That's true. Who's righteous right now? I'm not sure. So this is what I wanted to bring up here. Remember, the people who think they're righteous aren't. They're using righteousness as a way to push themselves forward. But this goes in the media. This goes in government. This goes with individuals. Guys, don't buy it. It's not the right answer. Look for the future. Remember something. When this fails, this bailout, which it will fail, or when the martial law they're trying to put into place, when that fails, and eventually it will fail, the question is, what's going to happen next? This becomes a new norm. A new norm that's going to change things. It's not going to be a good new norm. Remember what happened at the dot-com crash, and then after the last real estate crash, and now this crash. It's 3 crashes in a row, and each time a new norm, and life got harder for the youngsters. For the young adults, life got harder. It's going to get harder now. And you're going to be, and for those of you who are libertarian, for those in the liberty movement, you're going to be going crazy going, oh my God, these people want socialism. Wouldn't you? I'm not saying it's right at all. Everyone knows I'm not a socialist, right? It's not who I am, right? Everyone knows this. But I can have some understanding for where they're coming from. So I can talk to them about this and finding a better way to move forward. Because if I was one of them, I might start thinking socialism is the right answer too. I might. So I want to make sure that we understand when they get upset, when they get angry, when they start talking about, socialism or whatever the right answer is, don't get so angry. Again, my entire message tonight is they're righteous, they're wrong, but we shouldn't be angry. We have to talk to them, ask them questions, get on the same page, and move more towards us, because if we get angry, it validates their righteousness, it validates their anger, and they put us in the evil box, and there's so many boxes they can put us in. They're creating a left, right, a money, life, a government, or nothing false paradigm, because that's the easiest paradigm to create. It is the simplest way of going left and right. Just see, you're with us or you're against us. And it's the wrong answer, because here's the worst part. In the long run, the worst part, the most important part, in the long run, we're all in this together. In the long run, we are. In the long run, we are. And I know it's hard not to be angry right now. You're right. It's hard. But we got to do it. Because if they divide us, they win. If they force us into that paradigm of it's money or life, which is false, they win. It's government help from the top or nothing. They win. Oh, well, it didn't work. Let's do more of it. We didn't have enough of it. They win. I don't want them to win. We can win this. They're acting righteous. They're not righteous. We can call them out on it nicely, friendship, politely, because I don't want them to dig in. I want them to agree and come to us. Or at least, at a minimum, just go, whatevs. You might say, do I really want them to go whatevs? I do. In this case, I will take apathy over eager support of martial law and eager support of government oversight and control, which is what we're getting. You're seeing it. You're seeing people on one side. You're seeing people literally in my state. When I have a governor who has shown he does not care at all about private property in any way, shape, or form, he doesn't care at all about your rights at all, people literally doing hashtag President Cuomo. They are loving what he's doing. Please crush us more. Please devastate our already destroyed economy. We're seeing this. So it absolutely is happening. So for them just to go, whatever, I don't care, I'll take it. Let them go, I don't care, and then let us move forward. All right, guys, we'll say thank you so much for this evening. If you guys really want to help out, if you're in a position where money's tight, no worries. Don't worry about that if money's tight. Here's what I want you to do instead. If money's tight, share this, like this, comment on this, join all of my social media, Sharpe, Twitter, Facebook, all those things if you can. Please join them if you can. It's awesome if you can do it. If you can't put any cash together, please do that. If you got some cash, throw some bucks over at patreon.com/Sharpe. Throw a couple bucks over there. If you can't, share. Growth matters. This matters. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.